Hi everyone, this is Sneha, and in this episode of Interview Quote, I have with me Shalu, who has a rather interesting profile. She moved from a research internship at IIT Patna to a SD internship at Walmart Global Tech, and is now going to be finally joining PharmEasy as a data scientist, and that too as a fresher. So let's get started. Okay, so hi Shalu. First, let's get to know you. So tell us a little about yourself, your technicals and your non-technicals.
My name is Shalu. I am currently a final year at BITS Pilani, and my discipline is electrical and electronics engineering. And on the technical side, so I've been, interested in maths. So I've been inclined towards machine learning, deep learning because of the maths involved. And I've done a fair bit of development also. So mostly back-end development and stuff like that. So I've been involved with that. And on the non-technical side, so I've been a part of different clubs and organizations, and I'm a literature person, so I've been into that as well.
Oh, that's really nice. So let's like get to the part of like the interview discussion. So you cracked the a PharmEasy data scientist position. So let's get to know about the whole interview screening process. So,
Yeah, so PharmEasy was a part of our on-campus, placement season.
right.
So we basically have 2 seasons. You can sit in only one of them. So
Okay.
this was during August. So that is the first. So it came to campus, and there were some branch requirements. So there were 3 profiles: an SD profile, a data scientist, and a data analyst profile. So a data scientist and a data analyst profile, they had a common process.
Okay.
So we had the same test, we had the same, interview process. And towards the end, when they were offering us a position, they specified which one it was.
Okay.
And there was the branch restrictions were that for an SD profile, only students from a computer science discipline could apply. And for the other, the data scientist, data analyst, it could be computer science, triple E, or ENI. ENI is electronics and instrumentation.
Right.
So these were there. So on our campus, we do not have ECE, software or IT. So it might be a similar lines on other campuses as well.
So first, I
So
want
yeah,
to understand like what is the difference between these data analyst and data scientist role?
yeah. So essentially, data analysts, work on are more inclined towards business problems.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say data scientists are not, but there's I think some less amount of exploration or depth that goes into data analytics when you're working on it,
Hmm.
and as compared to data science.
Hmm.
So you can look at it like that. So what I heard in one of my interviews also, that data scientists make your systems smarter,
Hmm.
and data analysts make your people smarter, in the sense how what kind of data you should work with,
Okay.
what what should you do with data is what probably a data analyst would do,
Hmm.
and what kind of questions you should ask, or what kind of data you should take, or you should you look forward to if you have to process it, that data scientist would.
Yeah, so basically, the data scientist will decide what questions are like what features are important in the data that we need to look out for, and the data analyst will then use those features to make the calls for the business problems, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, now coming back to the interview process. So,
Yes. So in the interview process, so we had a online test.
right.
So again, it was there was so the test for the SD role and for the data scientist, data analyst role, they were at the same time, and I think of the same duration, but different tests.
Okay.
So I had our test was on Hacker, I think, and it was 1 hour long. So it was all MCQs,
Okay.
and the major components were Python, SQL,
Hmm.
some amount of maths, so some amount of aptitude,
Hmm.
and my basics of some machine learning. So not really specific models. You wouldn't go into neural networks,
Hmm.
but like what is a regression, and what happens, if some model is very accurate but not very specific, or things like that. What are the different metrics that you use? So those types of questions.
So
That
there
was a part of
absolutely
yeah.
no coding based questions.
So the Python section had a few questions on it. So essentially, I didn't have to write the code, but like I have been given a block and I'd have to, tell you what the output could be, or like if I replace this line with what would be the correct method of
Right.
doing that, things like that. I think one or two questions on data frames, not a lot. So if there are, I think 5 to 6 questions on Python, one or two were on data.
Okay. So was there any like use of libraries in those questions like pandas or NumPy or something?
Yeah. So pandas, I think not NumPy, but I think pandas one question, not a lot.
So, I guess from what I can understand, we're just trying to test like how well you have command over the language in terms of implementing stuff when it comes to like writing Python code, but not like the coding based questions that we have for the SD role. So
Yeah.
it's more catered
Yeah.
to learning this, and then
Yeah.
the
It's
parts of
it's
like
yeah. It's so I think it so I think there were more SQL questions as compared to Python. I don't really remember exactly the difference. But like the SQL questions were more exhaustive in that sense. So you'd have questions on queries, you'd have questions on joins and all of that. So from that point of view, I think you sort of the basic ML knowledge that you have and the SQL knowledge that you have should make up for the lack of each other. I think it was something along those.
Okay. So this was the online test round. What happened to that?
Yeah. So after that, they shortlisted, I think, around 10 people or 20, 10, 12 people. And then we had our interviews. So I had two interviews. Both of them were 1 hour long. The first one was with a business analyst, and the second one was a hiring manager round.
Okay.
So I had those two interviews, and both of them were. So I did not get asked, to code something like show me the program to write this. I was asked small questions in both the interviews, but the first one was mostly on the skill sets that you require. So there were some questions on Python, some on SQL, some on combinatorics, and in the second interview, it was more on my resume and projects.
Okay. So if we dive a little bit deeper into the first interview, so what were the exact sort of, like you mentioned there were some skill sets that we're looking for. So what were those skill sets?
Yeah. So in the beginning of the interview, I was asked to rate myself on Python rate myself on the skill set that you would require for a data analyst or a data scientist. I rated myself on Python, on SQL. I said both of these, and then I was asking also ML. So I rated myself on that as well. So all of that, and I think it would be similar for R also, but I don't have competency in R, so I just went forward with Python, and I wasn't very familiar with SQL, so I told them that I'm not very familiar with this, and my interview was pretty nice about it. He was like, okay. So and probability and statistics, some amount of that combinatorics. So we started with maths. So there was some basically a permutation and combination puzzle, like the number of ways to do something.
Okay.
And for each question, basically what my interviewer wanted me was to walk him through the process that I was using, Yeah. So I had to think out loud and walk them through that process. So, and he helped me also a lot in all of the whole scenario. So it was more like a conversation. But yes, I was given discrete questions to solve. For example, so this is a question for permutation and combination, and I'm solving it. So I'm telling him, okay, what I do, and then he'd ask me some questions as to why are you doing this, or do you know the principle behind this. So at some point, I said pigeonhole principle, and he was like, okay, so what is that pigeonhole principle? I explained that, and he said, there's another method to do this, in which you wouldn't mention pigeonhole, so I wouldn't ask you pigeonhole. Since तुमने mention कर दिया तो मैं तुमसे पूछूंगा. So things like that. Then we went on to SQL. So he gave me a query. What would be the number of rows or columns when you do this? 3-4 questions on SQL. I was stuck at various places, so my interviewer helped me a lot in all of that. Then some questions on Python. So the Python questions were again on pandas. So if I had to drop a particular crop a particular part of data. For
Hmm.
example, if there's a voter ID list, so
Hmm.
I have to drop everybody below the age of 18.
Okay.
How would I do that?
Hmm.
And things like that. So Python questions were like that.
Hmm.
Then some machine learning questions. So those are pretty basic. So essentially, for example, what is regression, or uh, why is a logistic regression a classification method if it's a regression?
Okay.
Things like that. So these are smaller questions, but
Hmm.
like you need to know uh, uh, the specific answers to this. There's no beating around the bush.
Right.
So there's that. And I think my interviewer also asked me about, my proficiency. So asked me which models have you worked with. So I said, I had told him regression. So he asked me regression questions.
Hmm.
If I tell him, I had told him, I think decision trees. So maybe
Hmm.
you'd ask those questions. But yeah, that was how it went. So that lasted an hour.
So, from what I'm understanding, for a beginner who wants to like go into this, in the terms of being in a data analytics or a data scientist role, there's more focus in terms of the interview on like the data exploration part than the like deep learning, like how people are
Mhm.
focusing more on working on neural networks right now. But first, have to understand all these basic parts first before moving on to that, right?
I think the first interview was more on this, that how can you deal with data. I was also asked some questions on what are the different kind of metrics and where would you use them.
Hmm.
So this discussion was actually in both my interviews,
Hmm.
but this was a smaller part of the session, not a very big part, but essentially, yes, how would you explore data.
Hmm.
So they weren't really concerned about my proficiency at neural networks or how the networks are structured.
Yeah. So let's now talk about the next interview. So what was the interview like with the hiring manager? And was this a strictly technical interview or it had some non-technical parts to it as well?
So it was a technical interview,
Hmm.
but I wasn't asked any specific question as to what is this command or what is this. It was based more on my resume and more of I think more of uh, they were looking at my thinking process
Hmm.
better. Thinking process, I think that was the most important part of it. I'll come to why. So it so the interview started off with their introduction, my introduction, things like that. Then I'd worked as I was an intern at Walmart,
Hmm.
Walmart Global Tech. So they asked me about that, what my project was like, and
Hmm.
how I worked at it. And then they moved on to my projects.
Hmm.
So I had two projects listed on my resume. Both of those were machine learning projects.
Hmm.
So they asked me about that. So what was the data like, or
Right.
how I went about doing that.
Hmm.
So I explained all of that. Then there was a discussion on why did you use a particular kind of metric in that case, and if I had to tweak it a bit, how
Right.
would you change it, things like that. So that was so my second interview was also very conversational,
Hmm.
because it was just me answering questions, so there wasn't anything really quantitative about it. So we're not talking in uh, quirky what is this or what is that, but essentially this is my project. Now if I had to do better with that, or I had to tweak it, so
Hmm.
they asked me in depth about all of this. And उसके अलावा I think there is yes, I was also given a problem statement that farm it was related to Farm Easy's work, and
Okay.
then it was asked as to how I would go about it if I had to find a solution to this.
Hmm.
So that was my second interview.
Okay. So this is a like more on your projects and as you mentioned, like
Yeah.
thinking capabilities. All right. So I have a couple of questions for you now. So first, I want to know more about the projects that you talk about. Like what kind of projects should someone list on their resume if they want to go for a role like yours? So let's understand that.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what kind of projects they should do, but I'll just tell you what I did.
Hmm.
So there might be some commonalities.
Right.
So I was a research intern at IIT Patna last year. So
Uh,
that was after my second year.
hmm.
And in my summer, I was an intern at Walmart. So Walmart was a software development internship, so it was a bit different. So I did ML work at with my research internship at IIT Patna. Apart from that, I had projects, in computer vision. So it was basically it's called object contour detection. So it was a part of a course that I did in college. So that was one project that I had. And apart from that, I think I had an image processing project, which I did as a part of a hackathon. So that was there on my resume also. So my research internship at IIT Patna, it was predicting diseases using audio signals. So I was asked on what was the data that you worked with. Did you collect it on your own, or did you use an open source data? Why did you use the models that you used, and things like that. So I had used a few optimization techniques. So I had used genetic algorithm PCA. So I was asked why I had used those, and so I gave the honest answers because my answers were pretty basic in that sense that my metric was accuracy that I was looking at. So and I tried it with PCA LDA and I got the best results with PCA, so I went forward with it. So these were the things that happened in the interview. On my computer vision project, so I was asked again what the data set was like, what the structure of the project is, and if I had to work on a ML problem, what would the steps be? So I stressed a lot on the data part. That you really need to know what the kind of data is that you're dealing with, because then only you can use any method to manipulate it or to process it. If you're not clear on what your data is, you cannot really do that properly. And then comes the metrics as to how you can tune hyperparameter tuning and all comes after that. So yeah, so that is how we went at it. And so yeah, I told you, so I had the IIT Patna project, which was it was basically in medical diagnosis, if I had to put a label to it, and the other one was a computer vision project.
So from what I'm understanding is that the projects that someone should list should be something that they have like really great deal of knowledge about, and they should be able to understand the trade-offs between choosing option A versus option B, because they will be asked why did they decide to do that throughout their internship or whatever they had, or if it's a normal. Okay.
Yeah, I think any kind of project where you're dealing with data, if you're dealing with data sets, would help you in these kind of tools. I think because ML projects are heavily based on data. So
right. So now let's moving on to like what would your advice be to like people who want to break into this field, because there are a lot of juniors who reach out and they want to know like, okay, there are a lot of profiles for software developers, but what about data science and data analytics? So what would you say, like what skills should they focus on right from the start of the college, and how should they go about it?
Some proficiency in Python or R, I think MATLAB was also used for some time. I'm not sure if it's as used as heavily now, but some Python or R, because these are used in the industry a lot, and SQL. So I was very honest with my interviews about not being very proficient in SQL, but I had some background because I'd worked with SQL in my internship, so I could understand what queries are. The intricacies I was not very familiar. So SQL is very important. Python R, one of that, is very important. I think some amount of you need to be familiar with statistics. So, for example, what is regularization, L2 regularization? Because even if you're dealing with ML, or even if you're studying ML, there is a mathematical base to it, right? You need to be clear with your statistics basics, probability statistics, and all of that. Some amount of combinatorics is, I don't think they excessively test you on that, on probability or permutation and combination. But these are smaller questions that if you read it, a few days before the interview or something, so you'd be familiar with it and you'd be able to do it.
Right.
So
like you mentioned the math, so even I have this like fear of like machine learning, and like it's going to be very heavy maths, and I will not understand like what's happening. So is it like very difficult for someone to understand? Like anyone can understand if they really apply themselves to it.
It's very easy to understand. So I don't think it requires some kind of special inclination.
Hmm.
So a lot of people would say it's very intuitive.
Hmm.
So some people get it very easily, and in any scenario, you can develop intuition if you get comfortable with the subject.
Hmm.
And statistics is pretty straightforward in that sense.
So if I have to like ask like if there's like any good starting point or any good resource that you would recommend for beginners to start with, so what would that be?
Um, for I think ML, I think most of the people start with Andrew NG.
Yeah.
I think that is a good place to start because he begins with telling you why it's important and he
Hmm.
gives you some mathematical background. I
Right.
think the bottom up approach is a good one.
Hmm.
Or there is I think you can pick up really any if you have college courses also
Hmm.
on machine learning.
Hmm.
So you can do that as well. So like for example, we have a few courses in our college. I did not do the machine learning course. I did a course, it's called neural networks and fuzzy logic. So that was more on deep learning.
Okay.
But yes, any machine learning course, if you pick it up over the internet or in college, I think that would work. So for anybody who's aiming for data science and like
Hmm.
that, so uh, focusing on ML for a bit, I think would be better as compared to moving on to deep learning very quickly.
Hmm.
Deep
I
learning is
yeah,
more glamorous or more fashionable, but yeah.
yeah. I think that a lot of the people make this mistake. Like just to get ahead to the next stage and like do all the amazing things that they can post and it looks really good, but the basics are not, the fundamental is not strong before you move on to that point. So yeah, that is definitely something that folks need to remember. So now I think a very important question that I have to ask is like how many actual opportunities are there in India in this field, like data analytics and data science? Because like there are a lot of queries about this that you know what, I want to do this, but I don't think there are a lot of opportunities out there. And should I risk learning this and not going for the normal conventional software development route and just going for this and not sure if I'll land an opportunity? So what would your take on this be?
So I think it's true. It's true in the sense that there are not a lot of roles on the undergraduate level for
Right.
data science and all.
Hmm.
So mostly startups. PalmEasy is again a startup.
Hmm.
Cars 24. I have a senior who got this. Not a lot of big corporations take data scientists on the undergrad level
Hmm.
because the kind of data that they deal with is very large and you need to have some amount of experience and things like that. So their process would be and their usage for data science would be different.
Hmm.
So they tend to prefer graduates for that. Graduates or people who have worked in the industry for quite some time. So I think there's that. So as for me, I prepared for both software development and data science roles last year also. So yeah, so I think if you're not very clear on data science, so it's always a good option to have a backup, whatever your backup is. It
Right.
might be data, it might be development, it might be data science, whatever your backup is, or in any scenario, it's good to have a backup because the placement process is very stressful.
How difficult was this to manage, like learning both these things and working them side by side? How much time did it take for you to like learn the data science part of this?
I think for Python, I picked it up mostly on my projects. So all
Hmm.
of the projects that I've done have been on the ML side. I've been using Python. So I
Hmm.
picked it up naturally from that.
Yeah.
And again, and the ML part, I think with optimum amount of work. I'm not saying you have to invest 3 hours every day, but like
Hmm.
some decent amount of effort. I think you take 1 month. I think
Hmm.
to clear out the basics and to be okay with how models work or the statistics part or things like that. And then there are various, because that's the bare minimum that you need.
Hmm.
After that there are various models, or there is there are various models optimizations that you might come across. So all those you will probably pick up as you go.
Cool.
So I think 1 month for ML, and you can take, I think, 1 month for the SQL and Python part.
Now moving on to like the next very important thing that I want to ask is that you moved from a research profile, like research at IIT Patna, then you did a SD internship at Walmart, and now you're joining as a data scientist. So how was this whole transition? What did you learn in this process, like, working with so many different things? And what would you like also say to folks who are wishing to explore different avenues but are like really scared that they will like not get time, or they will miss out on like on something in the process? So what would you say to them?
So the way I look at it is that I might as well, explore it now if I have that opportunity,
Right.
instead of not exploring it and then, regretting it at a later point of time. Okay, I should have done that.
Right.
So, and there is, so that was my whole idea behind, that research internship. And after that, I wanted to explore software development. So I worked with Walmart. So the idea behind all of that was, how will I know what the industry or what the work is like if I don't get my hands dirty, right? So that was that idea. Ki, okay, if I have to put in the effort, I'll do that, and then I'll move forward. And I think the most important part comes down to that you need to be flexible in your head about it. So, for example, 2 years or 3 years from now, if I want to switch into something else, so right now in my mind, I have that idea. Ki, okay, if I have to switch, I can. There is nobody stopping you from it. You'll only have to put in some amount of effort, and that is the least that you can do for it, because you're doing it for yourself, right? So you can put in effort.
I think like in a way you have become invincible right now, because you think like now I can just take on anything. It's gonna take some time, but I'll get there. I've done this multiple times now. It's all possible. So that's I think all the interview discussion and all like random discussion, and I'm getting to learn a lot from you in the process. So like one final question would be like, although this question is not that apt for you given that you have tried out everything that someone possibly can, but if you had to like start this college like once again, like restart the first year, what advice you would have given to yourself?
I think one advice I would have given to myself would be to ask for help whenever you need it. So I was that person who I wasn't very confident of myself. That wasn't the case, but I was very shy around people. So I am a shy extrovert. So I cannot start conversations, but I can carry them forward. So I was not very willing to ask for help or ask questions or ask doubts out of seniors or friends or people about stuff that I'm stuck on. So I would say to myself to give up that hesitance, because people will help you. They're not. So it's not a very bad world out there that people will not help you if you ask.
So this was a lovely session. Thank you so much for joining, Shalu. I had a great time talking to you, and I hope taking your advice, a lot of folks will get started into their journey with data science, data analytics, and possibly even land a job at your firm. Who knows, 2-3 years down the line. That's all for this video, guys. If you found that this video was of value, then please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I'm just starting out, and your support really means a lot. That's all.